What's up, y'all? It's Corwin L. Gilliams, I King Amongst Kings. Just coming on to share some, words of wisdom, in the season right now, particularly when it comes to, the, politics, right? When it comes to making decisions as far as, candidates and what's going on, particularly within our society today, where we have. There's no longer a discussion. When we see people expressing their opinions in regards to their political interests, it seems to be more of selfish arguments as opposed to discussions about solutions within our community. And I don't believe in that. I respect everyone as far as, especially people with strong characters who are able to stand for what they believe in, regardless of people's opinions, regardless of if it goes against what everyone is believing at the time. You know what I'm saying? And so, for me, I respect people who can just beat up a one-man gang, right? Because I myself am. I am like that, especially when it comes to things that I strongly believe in. And I do believe in promoting and fostering environments where people, I like to say people of strong character, right? These are people who, there are some negative, quote unquote, negative traits associated with people with strong characters. But like everything else, right? With everything that exists, there's something or an opinion or an expression that doesn't necessarily come into alignment with what someone label you as, or what a society or culture define you as. And so I say strong character not because I believe that the definition of that solely defines you. No, I say that to give you a general idea as to who I am referring to. And since I take on that term myself as a component of who I am, it is not holistically who I am. And so when it comes to the media and just even our own families, right? When it comes to family and friends, people that are closely connected to us, how subtly their beliefs and their interests can bombard us, not in a negative way or in a way that's like annoying, even though that can be the case, but in a way where we're not realizing that we're not thinking for ourselves, right? And so that's the point of this video. I feel like in this season, we're in 2019, the presidential election is in 2020. We just recently had a surprise election a couple months ago for, I believe it was a replacement for Jermaine Williams, who is currently the New York City public advocate. And so we saw a lot of promotions as to who we should vote for and who we should vote for, right? And so what I notice now in our community, in the media and entertainment, is that when you decide to make a decision or to vote for someone that the majority is not in agreement with, for some weird reason, it's a problem, right? And I don't agree with that. I don't understand that, and I will never come into agreement with that, because when you feel that you can pressure someone to make a decision that comes into agreement with yours, or that you want to bully their voice, because that's essentially what it is. You're now bullying someone into coming to agreement. If you cannot articulate or eloquently express your beliefs persuasively, right? Not coercively, persuasively, in a manner where you can now challenge a person's ideology, or challenge the person's perspective as to what they believe. If you're not able to do that in a manner, it doesn't have to necessarily be intelligently, right? You don't necessarily have to use big words, but in a manner as far as a conversation, or however you choose to communicate, right, without forcing or intimidating the person to come into alignment with your agreement. If you're able to do that, that's amazing, and I support that. But when it comes to people out here who, they literally try to pressure you into making decisions, where you're not able to confidently or comfortably say, okay, you know what, even though I hear what you're saying, even though I'm listening to what you're saying, I personally don't agree with that, then that should be accepted. We should embrace that. We should not try to make people feel, okay, well, you know what, if you don't come into agreement, or if you don't agree with what the norm is saying or what the majority is saying, then you don't have a voice and we don't have to hear you. Go back into your closet and shut the door. You know what I'm saying? And that's essentially what's been going on. We have a lot of people who I know, whether black, white, Spanish, or whatever, who actually don't agree with what the Democrats are doing, right? They don't believe in the democratic module, at least, with regards to what has been going on in the past years, right? Whether it's the past 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, 50 years. And so we also have people who, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, who are not in agreement with the Republicans and what they're doing and the module that they've been subscribing to and standing on, right? So because these people, whether black, white, race, or whatever, whatever race or whatever gender, chooses to, let's say, be independent, chooses to say, you know what, I don't pick either sides, but guess what, I just may be leaning on the sides of Republican, I just may be leaning towards the sides of a Democrat, then that should be solely on the individual's beliefs. That should be solely on the individual's choice, not feeling pressured or intimidated. You know what I'm saying? And intimidation doesn't necessarily come with me putting a gun to your head or me threatening to kill you. Intimidation can simply be me boycotting your business, or me harassing you, or me, setting up or painting a picture of your character that tarnishes who you are. So now, so in other words, what ultimately the goal is for you to buckle to the pressure and now conform to this person's beliefs, right? And that's evil. That is another manifestation of evil. That is a manifestation of wickedness. And I don't believe that is what our society needs to have in any aspect when it comes to who governs our society, when it comes to just peace and happiness and just the liberty, right? Freedom, right? In essence, it's like another form of slavery that has manifested itself. It's not necessarily you being in bondage physically with chains, but you're being in bondage when it comes to how you express yourself, when it comes to how you feel, when it comes to your creativity, when it comes to you being the odd man out. You shouldn't be ashamed or afraid, but that's how our society. So I came on here to share with you guys, and to confirm and to encourage, to inspire, and to come into agreement with some who already believe what I believe, that this is a time in our society where we have the most freedom when it comes to thinking for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to being an individual and being unapologetically an individual, right? And let not our family, friends, co-workers, what we see in the media, the people that we admire, you know what I'm saying? Generally, they tend to be celebrities, you know what I'm saying? Let's not totally subscribe to their narrative. Let's not totally subscribe to what it is that they're promoting, but let's subscribe to individuality. Let's subscribe to thinking for ourselves, right? And using our mind to make decisions not based on other people's expectations, but based off of what we believe in, right? Let's have that integrity like we would have for other people, for ourselves, when it comes to our thoughts, when it comes to the behaviors and the habits that we accept from people. But most importantly, let's have integrity when it comes to the things that we believe in, and not, when we have opposition, right? That comes against what we're saying or challenges what we're saying. Let's not shy away from it, but stand in it, right? Because whatever you believe in, if you truly believe in it, nothing or no one can change how you feel in a way that's coerced, right? They can persuade you to challenge your thoughts and to challenge the things that you may not have considered, right? And that's what thinking does. That's what, having communications with other people who share different thoughts. That's what it does, but it does it in a loving way. It does it in a way where you're not enslaved or feel pressured to make a decision that comes into agreement with something or someone who does not align with your beliefs or doesn't come into agreement with your beliefs, right? So bear with me here. I'm about to wrap this up. This is a season for us to think for yourself. A lot of us, I know for me personally, I can speak from my personal experience when it came to a president, a Barack Obama first election. I went and I voted, not because I had any knowledge, or not because I had any experience voting, right? I think I had just turned 18 or 19 probably. And it was my first time going at the polls, and when I went, it was solely because it was a black person. It had nothing to do with his principles. I had no idea what he stood for. I had no idea what President Barack Obama was rooted in. I had no idea what it is that truly what I voted for. But I went because everyone around me felt like, okay, this is the first black president, right? And I'm not speaking for myself. I know there's other people who feel this way, that we just went out there and we voted, right? And to be honest with you, I have not voted since then, right? And I'm not going to get into why I didn't vote. Maybe we can do that on another conversation. But life happens, and there's things that that consumes our lives where, to be honest, we don't really got time for what's going on. Like when you're dealing with issues in your life, you can care less. I mean, that's the moment where I think it's okay to be selfish when you're dealing with stuff, right? And so I've never voted since then, and I was going to vote the last election, but I didn't because I did not approve of either candidates. And at that point, for me, it was more about me being knowledgeable. It was more about me making an educated decision as opposed to listening to what people around me were saying, as opposed to listening to the people I respected, but to make a decision based on what I believe in, based on the knowledge that I pursue, to know, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to vote for this person if they align, may not be wholeheartedly with what I believe in, but if I believe it is for the greater good, this is who I'm going to vote for, right? Now, it just may be I don't agree with either candidates, right? And it should be okay. Like, I shouldn't be pressured to vote because I have the right to vote. What if there's just no candidates that I believe in? Am I supposed to choose the lesser of the two evils? If that is the case, no, I will not do that because I don't believe in that, and I'm not going to do it. So, with the previous election, I felt that there wasn't enough information for me to go out there to vote decisively and in a way that it would be, where I won't have any, remorse as to my decision. I didn't have that, so I didn't. This election, and this is the whole point of this video, this election, right, the 2020 election coming up, I want each and every single person who sees this video to have an open mind to the thoughts, the perspectives, the truths, the opinions, right, the facts, the data, you know what I'm saying, the arguments, the debates. But at the end of the day, you have to do your own due diligence. That is your responsibility as a citizen. That is your responsibility as a human being. That is your responsibility as a child of the Most High God. To have the confidence and the courage to make decisions not based off of the opinions of others, but based off of your due diligence and what you decide to research and pursue in order to make a comfortable, confident decision, right? And that is going to take you, that is going to require you to be selfish in a way, right? Because now you're going to have to spend time, maybe not a lot, but spend enough time to acquire information. Maybe you have to do some research at the library. Maybe you don't even know what really democracy is. Maybe you don't know what a republic government is. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't even know what it is to be an independent, right? You don't know. So these are all things that I believe in are foundational, right? Before we can even consider what we're looking for in a candidate, right? We have to understand these roles, right, that they are vying for, right? And the only how we're going to do that is not relying on, what people choose to share, because people are always going to share the positive things. You understand? They're not going to share the negative things, right? They're only going to share the positive things, and it is wise, I should say, to consider everything. Consider everything, and don't be afraid. Like, no one's gonna put the worst they're gonna. What can they do? The worst they can do is take your life. But if someone is willing to take your life for your beliefs, then that's been going on forever, right? And it's not going to happen. Let's not even go there. The problem is fear. For some reason, a lot of us many people, not me, but many people are afraid to think for themselves, right? Many people, and I understand it, because I always thought for myself. I was always able to think for myself. And I think now that, through my spiritual growth, I've been able to communicate it in a way that is not aggressive or that is not offensive. But then again, you quickly learn that, anything can offend anybody, right? And so you have to understand also when it is that it's okay to be yourself, right? And not worry about what someone has to say, or worry about, you offending someone, especially when that is not your intention. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm seeing also in the society where it's becoming very clear that there's just certain things that you can't say. And I don't believe it's because it offends people. I believe it's because people don't want you to have a voice. People don't want you to express yourselves, right? And so we're seeing a fine line here, but you got to do what works for you. You got to do what makes you sleep well at night, and whatever makes your conscience clear, whatever that is. For me, I know that I can't please everybody, right? And I know that with everything that I do, most importantly, I'm considerate as far as I'm able to be considerate. And I apologize when I do wrong. When I mess up, I apologize. But what I'm not going to allow is anyone to tell me how to think, how to vote, how to live my life. Especially when it comes to these important life-changing decisions, right? And so think for yourself, guys. This is an opportunity more than ever where we have information at our fingertips, right? You have the internet, you have the library, you have places that you can just go and sit down and have conversations. You can walk into your assemblywoman or assemblyman's office, have a conversation about their role and what they're doing within the community. Have a conversation with just people, with your neighbors. See what are the issues. Hear their gripes, hear their opinions, hear the things that they are concerned with. See how it aligns with yours, and see how you guys can come together to have a meeting, a community meeting, to address certain issues directly with your assemblyman or your councilman. The people who are more tangible, as opposed to the president, right? It starts at the ground level first. And I think the idea, is that you have to, when it's the presidential election season, we see all this craze and all this buzz, but there's elections throughout the year, like yearly. You understand what I'm saying? There are senates, and there are, again, assemblymen, assemblywomen, people in government who we have to be mindful of, that, believe it or not, their decisions affects us more immediately on a state level than on a federal level. And if we're not, pursuing, these individuals, these assemblymen and assemblywomen, these policymakers on a state level, on a city level, then it becomes even more challenging on a federal level to have these people hear our issues and really make efforts to change it, right? And so for me, what I've learned is, what I'm doing right now is, learning about, and I'm being completely honest with you guys, I'm learning about certain policies. I'm learning about the New York State Legislature. I'm learning about the Senate. I'm learning and having conversations about these types of terms and these types of topics, so I can have a conversation about my gripes. I can have a conversation about the things that bothers me, and not just jump on somebody else's bandwagon because, I don't have a voice for myself. That's the problem. And so again, you guys, think for yourself. It is so important for you to think for yourself, to be unapologetic about it, and to be around people who share your feelings. That is also another encouragement and a confidence booster, to be around people that share your opinions, share your interests, share the things that that bothers you, share the things that you want to change, right? Think for yourself. And also, when it's all said and done, Only God can judge. OGCJ. At the end of the day, that is who gave you life and life more abundantly. That is who created you. Another human being did not create you. Not even your mother. Your mother and father was just a vessel to create you and to bring you into this world. We love our parents, right? But at the end of the day, our life belongs to God, who created us as a thought, as an imagination, and spoke us into existence. And our life is indebted to Him, God who is truth, God who is love, God who is justice, God who is peace, a wonderful counselor, and everything that we are that is beautiful in this world, that is unperverted, that is pure, that is God. And anything that we do, we should always remember that God loves us and wants the best for us. All right, you guys. Have a good day. Talk to you soon.